This is the Samsung Captivate LCD digitizer replacement.
What we would do first is just make sure the device is powered off, and if you don't see anything after you press the power button, just if there's nothing on the screen, you can just go ahead and take the battery out, and that will definitely make sure that it's powered off. On the back of the phone, you'll notice there are 4 screws that you can see here, and then there are 2 down here underneath this clip. We'll need to get those 6 out. However, first we'll just take these 4 screws out. Now the bottom 2, I always take and just slide this clip down just a little bit to where you can see inside, and you'll notice the screw is there. I always leave the screw in. I just loosen it all the way out, so you can take your Phillips and just go all the way down to the screw, and then you'll feel it when it starts to release. And just give it a good 15 turns or so, and it should be loose enough for you. Then take and do the same thing to the other side. Just close that one side and then just open the other side up, and you'll see the screw, and you can just take your Phillips and just get down in there, and it doesn't hurt the phone.
So the clip doesn't come off?
No, the clip doesn't come off. You just leave it in there. And I just take the clip and go back down over it so it's back to normal. Now once all 6 of those screws are loosened, you'll notice that these up here typically will stay inside the phone. You don't have to remove them out of the back housing. I typically just leave them in there unless they come out like this one did. What you'll do next is turn the Captivate completely face towards you, and you'll notice that there's a mid-frame here on the sides all the way down both sides, and that's where we're going to separate the back housing from the actual LCD and the circuit board. You can just take your flat pick and just go in that front right hand corner of the top of the phone and just work your way down, pulling out on the phone, and you'll notice that it'll come out pretty easy once you get one side started. Like so. Now if you want to go to the top of the phone, you'll notice that there's a clip up there as well, and you'll want to just unclip that. Like so. And then you'll go just to the other side and just start working your way down as well. Like that. Now once that's released, you'll notice that it'll just pop right up. I mean, you don't put any force on it, it just basically will pull right up on it. Now you'll notice that there is a screw here right by the vibrator switch. You'll need to remove that screw in order to get this whole sector out of the phone, the circuit board itself. I just removed that one screw from the circuit board. And just set it off to the side. Next, you'll notice you have the camera up here. You can just take your flat pick, just pick up on that and remove that from the actual frame, and it comes up really easy. Next, you'll go up to the ear speaker jack and just peel that up and just pull it to the side. Then you'll go to the LCD and just pull that to the side as well, and then you'll notice that there's another flex down here at the bottom, and that's for the touch portion of the front of the screen here for the 4 home buttons, and you just move that off to the side. Then the final step before we can remove that circuit board is just to unplug the antenna here at the right hand corner of the bottom of the circuit board, and we can just now take and start to remove this circuit board, and it'll remove real easy once you get that antenna off, and just set it off to the side. Now basically all we have to do is turn it back over, and then we just have to be careful. You can take, if you want to loosen up that 3M tape, you can take some heat and just apply a little bit of heat here. I don't use heat, but if you wanted to, you could. there is a flex connector down here at the bottom of it, just like the vibrant, that you need to be really careful with, just so that you're not ripping that when you're pulling this off of the mid frame. So I always start at the top and work my way down so I can avoid tearing anything down here. And you can just take and just apply just a little bit of pressure here, and you'll notice that it's coming up pretty easy once it's broken. You know, you don't have to be careful with that when it's broken, because it's already going to be. Just being careful, you know, applying just a little bit of pressure on the LCD, so that when you do get down here to the bottom, you're not just ripping it across and then ripping that flex at the bottom of the phone. And so I just take and just, you know, peel off as much as I can. And if it snaps there right before that flex connector, you can always just pull that off and move it out of your way, so it's not, you know, you know, in your way. And you can just take that and put that off to the side. Next, you can just start here at the bottom left-hand corner of the phone, and you can just start chipping away at the glass, just being careful of that flex the whole time so that you're not peeling it up as well.
The flex is basically controlling those 4 buttons on the front portion of the LCD. A lot of times the flex can, you know, stick to the inside of that broken LCD digitizer, and so John is just taking his time separating carefully the flex from, you know, the broken parts of the screen.
You'll notice that it's pretty simple once you get it started, that the flex won't come up with it if you just take and hold the flex down while you're peeling up that glass. And once it comes all the way up, it's pretty simple once it gets all the way up there. And if it starts to come up with it, you can just hold it down and it comes up pretty simple. And on the old LCD, you'll notice that there is a gasket that covers up the ear speaker, and you'll want to take that off and replace it back onto the new digitizer. And it's just like that. And you can take the new one and you can just set it on top here, just like so. And then what you can do after that is just take and just run your finger along the edges so that you know there's no glass inside the mid frame. And you'll want to do that just to be careful so that you're not putting the glass on the back of the new LCD and breaking it in the process of putting it on. After you've removed all the glass, next all you can do is take and just remove the tape that's holding the 3M or covering up the 3M, so that when you put it back on, it's sticky. You can just remove that. Then you just take and apply the digitizer, making sure that the flex to the LCD is going through the little slot on the right hand side of the upper mid frame. And you can take and just put that in like so. And once that goes all the way down, you just apply just a little bit of pressure and it'll line up just right, like so. Just putting a little bit of pressure on it to make sure that 3M is sticking to the back of the mid frame. After you've done that, next all we have to do is start reassembling the phone. You can take the circuit board and place it back into the position, the appropriate location, and then just start plugging in the flex cables. So, making sure that you plug that antenna in. If you don't, then they won't get reception. Then you can take and put the camera back in, like so. Then now we need to put the screw back into the vibrator. Next, we'll take the back housing and put it back on, lining up everything, and then you just take and put a little bit of pressure on it.
Go ahead and do the bottom first.
Yeah, I'd go ahead and just make sure that bottom snaps in, and it'll snap in real easy, and then the sides will just snap in real simple. Make sure that bottom goes in, and then once the bottom's in, the top will line up. And I always just check everything to make sure everything's, moving right, buttons are working, everything feels correct. Now we can take and just start screwing the 6 screws back into their appropriate locations.